Hello, welcome to Ekidel, where we train future civil and structural engineers. My name is Fashe Ochet. Today, as you can see this building, this is what we call white strip foundation. So therefore, we want to learn how to design white strip foundation. The way you go about designing your part foundation is different from how you go about designing your white strip foundation. So therefore, if you are designing your part foundation and it's failing, and the other alternative you have is what we call white strip foundation. So therefore, we want to train you on how to design your white strip foundation. Is that okay? To how to model it at the same time design it. So, but for this today's own, we want to see how we can model this before we do what? We design it. So today's lesson is to show you how to model your white strip foundation before we talk of what? Maybe part 2 will then be what? How to design your white strip foundation. Is that okay? So as you can see, this structure is what is already been what modeled. You can see, as you can see it. So you can see them. You can see it here. You can see it here. So this is what we call white strip foundation. In case you have not subscribed to Ekidel and you are enjoying what we are doing, the only way you can show us that indeed you are enjoying what we are doing is by what? By subscribing to what? To our channel. Just click on subscribe button to show that yes, you love what we are doing and you want us to continue to do more. At the same time, click on the what? On the like button. It doesn't take you anything to do what? To just help us subscribe. And when we see it, it tells us that yes, you need more of our what? Our services. So thank you very much. And let's go there and see how this can be what? Can be modeled. So please listen very well and let's do it carefully so that you can understand it better. So therefore, let's go there. All right, welcome back. Now, when you are at 3D, so see the structure, but for you to design normally when you are designing your foundation, you know that you have to be at what? At level 0, isn't it? So let's go to level 0, and at this point, this is where you design it. So normally, if you want to design your part foundation, you click on this, right click, and then click on what? On pad, isn't it? And you can see allowable stress of your soil as what? As 200. Now, before you do this one, I want to say that please listen and listen very, very well. There are some things you need to do, settings you need to do before you can start. But before then, let me do something. First of all, since it's a white strip foundation, we are talking about what? The beam. We are going to use beam with some level of strip, which will go throughout what? The foundation. So therefore, for us to do this, there are things we need to do before we can do that. So the first thing is to do what? Is to input our what? What we call our beams. Alright. Is to insert what? As I said, our beam. And for us to do that, first of all, there are some rules when it comes to BS code of designs, or BS code. Now, when your beam is more than 100, it's no longer a white strip foundation. When your beam, more than 1 meter, it's no longer what? A white strip foundation. It should be less than anything from 900 downward. Then you can say it's what? It's a white strip foundation. But when it comes to 1 meter, then you can say what? A beam raft foundation. And when it's becoming more than 1 meter and above, you can now see it as what? As a shear wall. Are we together? So for us to say we are using a white strip, it then means that the thickness of our beam, the depth of our beam is not more than what? More than 900. So for us to do that, let's start. Then we now come to our what? Our settings. So you click on beam. Come to your concrete member and click on what? On beam. Let's set it. Then 225. Yes, we can go 225. Then with what? With let's start with let's say 500. Let me use 500 because it's not a big story. I can even use I decide to use what? Let's say 450. 450. I can decide to use what? 450. Is that okay? But let's just make it 500. Is that okay? Not to waste our time. 500. Then I start to input what we call our beam from column to what? To column. So I continue to this point. Since I've been doing this structure, I already know the movement of what? Of all the columns, the positions, and the rest. So also this one. That is why when you are designing, you have to get conversant with what? With your drawings. Is that okay? You have to get conversant with what? With your drawing. Very, very important. So I can't overemphasize on that enough. So let's continue and put it here. Then I think, yes, from here to this place. Let's put that perimeter first and then this place. Okay. Then after this one, then I think there's one here. Yes, I'm correct. At Y3. Yes. And then at this Y10, there's another one here. Yes. And at this point here, we have this one here that look like that created the passage. Then and this one, let me put here again to meet this one here. To meet this one here. And also from here to this place. And also from here to this place. Good. Then what else again? I think that is okay. At this point again, we have another one. Yes, panel this. I think that is all. Yes, that is that. Any other one again? So none. Okay, I can decide to now increase this one to this place, to hold this column back. Though there's nothing like that in our design, but that's our beam. But for our foundation, we can also input this one to hold this one back. So therefore, I think that is that. That is all for this. This is it. Now there's something I want to show you. Once we have done this, so let's go and check our 3D and see what we have done first. So our 3D, so you can see it. Okay, let me off this. Let me off this my design status. Okay, come here and here. So and you can see it. You can see, just like when we want to design our beam raft, you see, but this one, the thickness or the depth of your beam is not at that of what raft foundation. So therefore, let's go further and design. So go back to my level 0. And when you want to do this, I want to show you something very, very important. Please listen. Very, very important. Now, if you look at my capacity, soil bearing capacity, based on what I have done, is what is 200. Is 200, isn't it? So let me design with this as 200, and let's see what you are going to see. Understand what you are going to see? Sorry, let me close it. This is 200. This is 200. So let me use this one. And when you want to do it, you press first one, then press your shift key and continue to click on the beam along that line. Is that okay? Along this line, you must press you must select all. What I say? Let me do it again. I first of all click on this, press my shift key, and begin to click on all the beams along the same line. If I have up to 50, I must click on all of them. Is that okay? Then release my hand, then right click and click on what? Insert what? Strip footing. Use it now. So you click on it, and once you click on it, the next thing to do is to click on what? On your design envelope. I can't overemphasize on this when you're designing for what? White strip foundation. This one is very important for you to check. You must check it. If you don't check it, you are going to have errors. So on this place, we are talking about our bars for the foundation. Based on this, I can decide to use Y12, or maybe because of the structure, yes, I can decide to use Y12. Are we together? So then when it's come to left-hand side cantilever, you start with 500. Highest is 1000. Is that okay? 500. Then here, you don't touch it. It's in the course of the design, the software, the design will now come up and give you the width of this your foundation. Don't touch this. So the next thing you have access to do is what? Your footing depth. Your footing depth. I'm starting with what? I'm starting with what we call with 2 to 5. I'm starting with what? 2 to 5. 2 to 5. Yes. Then once I've done this one, the next thing I will do to do what? And looking at this place that says subgrade reaction coefficients. Don't touch it. I will advise you to leave it what as default, because this was designed by Joseph, which is the best soil engineer, and what he came up with is very, very acceptable anywhere in the whole world. So therefore, I would advise you to do what? To leave it as default. So I haven't done all of this. What you need to do is to click on what? On your design. So let's wait and see what comes up. So let's wait for it. Let's wait for it. It's coming up. So you can see it. Our shear force has been designed. Our moment has also been what? Been designed. So now click on OK. And once I click on OK, you can see this place telling us that it's still okay. 1,000 meter width is what? It's very okay. Despite that we are using what? Our bar size as what? Y12. So then the next one is click on what? On OK. So you can see it here. You can see it. So this is it. So now this is based on, don't forget, our soil bearing capacity as what? 200. Are we together? As what? As 200. So let's now delete this one and go and put our soil bearing capacity based on the geotechnical report. Is that okay? Based on this for this particular structure. So let's delete. So let's delete this. I'll right click and what? And delete. I say no. Okay. So let me go back and now change my soil bearing capacity and see what will happen. Is that okay? So if you don't do this, make sure you always set this when it comes to white strip foundation. Always set your input your value for soil bearing capacity. Is that okay? So let's assume this one is what? Based on a geotechnical report, because I said I'm going to use the same structure to show you how to design your white strip foundation. So therefore, let's our geotechnical report is, let's say 95. Sorry, 95. Good. It's 95. What I say is 95. So I click on what? On OK and say yes. It's okay, no problem. So what I need to do is to redesign. Then click on this, and then let me just start. Okay, this and this, and let's see. Okay, while it's running, let me pause this video so that we can quickly, so that to reduce the length of our videos. What we just did is just to reanalyze because of the changes we have made. We say it's what 1995 is it our solid bearing capacity. So now we came back and then we want to start the work properly now. Is that okay? We want to design, we want to model our what? Our strip footing. So therefore, what we need to do is to what? Click on this, as I've rightly said, click on this, then also press your shift key and click on this along each other side and click, and then what? Right click and click on what? And click on insert strip footing. So click on it. Once you have clicked on it, come and click on what? Design envelope. Once you click on design envelope, based on your reinforcement that you want to use for your foundation, you also put it and allow this, leave it at what? Maximum soil stress. Is that okay? And I've explained this particular subgrade reaction coefficient. It's very, very important you leave it as what? At default. So therefore, all you need to do is to come here again and also change it to what? 500, and this one also 500, and the maximum is what? Is 1 meter. That's 1000 millimeter. So, but this one, footing weight, don't touch it. Don't ever touch it. Then the next one you have access that you can touch is what? Is your footing depth, which I'm starting with what? 225. If it fails, it will show me that insufficient. Then I can now come here and do what? I increase it either to 250 or to 350 or and above. Is that okay? So that is that. But for now, I'm using 225. Is that okay? So leave this one footing tapper height, leave it at what? At 0. So I haven't done all of this setting. The next thing to do is to click on what? On your design and wait for it. So while we are waiting, in case you have not subscribed, I want to say you should subscribe. By doing that, you are encouraging us to do what? Produce more videos. So you can see has been what? Designed. So shear force and bending moment as what? Has been done. So click on OK. And if you now look at this place, it's what? It's 1000. Is that okay? 1000, which means it's still okay at that 90. So you click on what? Sorry. I'm supposed to click OK, not design. So let's wait for it. Let's wait for it. Okay, click on OK, and then the next one is what? OK. So you can see it here. So you can see it now. Do you see it? So the next thing, we also click on this. Let me start with horizontal first. Click on this, press shift down, and click the rest. Now, I want to show you something at this point. If you click on this, because there's no support here, it will not. Let me click on this, and then remove my hand and right click, and come to this place. So you can see it. Missing column. Do you see now? So I close it. Which means this particular one, there's no column. And if you want to design this, you can decide to put what? To put column here, just to design, and afterwards, you remove it. Is that okay? So since it's going to be the same thing, there's no changes, I can delete it, and then start, and do it properly, and do it this way, and leave it, then right click, and then come to insert strip, come here, and envelope. So in this case, unlike part foundation, that once we input the values, we set it, you can use it for the rest. But this one, you have to enter it one after the other. Is that okay? So Y12, that's what I'm using. And here is what? It's, we are saying is what? 500, and this one is what? 500, and this one is what? 225. Is that okay? So click on what? On my design. So while I wait for it, on my design, I wait for it. It's coming up. So you can see it, design, and come here and click. So you can now see now. So you can see now it's 1099.88 meters. 0.88 meters rather. 1099.88 what? Meters. So you can see that's the footing width. That before it was a 1000 meter, but now based on the design, it's now 1000 what? 999.88. So I click on OK and see. So you can see it here now. So this is what we are going to be doing to all of them. So let me do this one. After this one, I'll pause this video so that press shift key down and then continue to click on this, and click on this. Then the right click and then also come to this place, insert strip, and also do the same thing. You can see we have to be entering the value one after the other each time we are designing. So we press what? 500, and this one what? 500, and then come to this place and what? 225. So if it's failing, it's telling me sufficient, then I'll come to this place and increase it. So therefore I click on design and wait for it. So you can see it has come. So now that is that, and I click on what? On OK. So it's also what? It's also OK. So therefore I'll pause this video. Let me finish all the horizontal. Then once I'm done with horizontal, I'll come to vertical, then we'll do it together to some point. Is that okay? Because to reduce the length of this video. All right, so you can see that we are done with all the horizontal. So let's start with what? With the vertical. So click and then right click. This one I don't need to press shift. Why? Because just only one, isn't it? So click on it and then right click and come to insert strip. Then I click on this. You can see we have to re-enter it one after the other. So click on this 500 and this one what? 500. As I've said, we start what? Minimum 500, maximum 1000 millimeters. So this place, don't touch it. So come to this place. To start with what? From the minimum, which is what? 225. Then click on what? On your design. So let's wait for it and see. Let's wait for it. If it's sufficient, it will design. Assuming this place is not sufficient, it will show you what insufficient. Then you come and do what? Increase it. So click on OK. So you can see the same thing. So let me see this one too and do the same thing here. And also come here, design envelope. So you click, always check it. And this my reinforcement. I also put it based on what I want to design. So 500, and this one also 500, and this one is what 225 based on my choice. Then since 225 is passing, that means I can use 225. So I click on design and also do what? And wait for it. So you can see it's designed. So click on OK and also what? And OK. So that is that. So I'll pause it. If there's anyone that I need to call your attention, I'll definitely resume. So let me pause it to also reduce the length of this video. Is that okay? So let's do it. All right, let's resume back so that we can do this remaining two together. So as I said, what to do is to do what? Click on this. Then first of all, click on it. Then press your Shift key and select all the beams along that particular line. Make sure all are what? Are selected. Is that okay? All are what? Selected. Then what to do is right click and then come to this place, insert strip. Then once that one is done, click. The first thing is to do what? Click on your design envelope. And once you have clicked on it, I have told you that this one you leave it as what? As default. The next thing to do what? Choose your what? Reinforcement. If it's Y12 you want to use, or if it's Y16, you make your choice. But I'm using Y12. So that is that. And coming to left hand side cantilever, I told you that the maximum is what? 1000 millimeter and the minimum is what? 500 millimeter. So I start with the minimum. So 500 and then 500. Then I've told you that footing width, don't touch it. Don't ever touch it. Don't touch it. Don't do any changes. It's the software that will do the design. That will now tell you this footing width. So the only thing you can do is your footing depth, which I'm starting with what? 225. If I click on this design and it's not sufficient, you tell me what? Insufficient. Okay, for instance, let me put let me say 100. Let me say 100 now, and let me put design. You see what? See, section insufficient. Use it. I'll click on what? Okay. So what will I do? Let me allow it first because you should still design it. To still design. So let me just wait for you so you can see it. So therefore, let me say okay. Then come to this place and then put my right value. So which is what? 225. And let's see if it will that the same thing again. So let's watch and see. Let's watch and see. It's coming. So you can see a design without any error. So that is that. So now once that one is done, so you can now click on what? On OK. You see this one is checked. This one we have chosen it. This one default. This one we leave it as default. This one make our changes at this footing width, and at this cantilevers we make our changes. And that's the next thing. Now we have click on what? The design. It has designed it for us. Then next is what? OK. So that is that. So you can now click on this one again, and let's do it. Press your Shift and click on this one, right click again and come to this place and click, and then do this one again, leave this one as coefficient and this one as default rather, and this one I change my reinforcement, I leave this one as 0 eccentricity. Also come to this place and change to what? 500, and also this place what? 500, and this place I leave it as default as it is. The software will design it that one for me. So this one I also choose about 225. Is that okay? And I've explained everything to you. So the last one is what? Click on your design and let's wait for it to design it for us. So let's wait for it. In case you have not clicked on like button, I want to say you should do what? You should click on the what? The like button. So that is that. Click on this one and it's still 1000. So if the load is much, definitely this place will be changing. It's because this 1000 millimeter width is footing width. It's okay. It can still carry the structure. That's why you don't see any changes here. I think we have seen the one whereby we have a change of what? Of 1099.88 what? Millimeters. So I believe you remember. So that is that. So click on what? On OK. So with this, we are done designing our what? Our our strip footing. Sorry, modeling our strip footing rather. Sorry, we are done modeling our what? Footing for strip. So therefore, let's look at our 3D and see. So you can see it now. So you can see what we have done. So now we are done with what? With modeling. Now what we just did is we modeled our what? Our strip footing. So you can see it, white strip foundation, which is footing. We have just finished what? Modeling it. So therefore, this is how you go about modeling your white strip foundation. So as you can see it, very fantastic. So as you can see it, which means that this beam, this one I'm touching, is holding this beam, and this one is also what? Holding this beam. Sorry, this column. So this beam is holding this column, and this beam along this side is also holding this column. And this left hand, all of this with is distributing the what? The load. The little load that's coming to the ground, this one is what is distributing it. So that is that. So thank you very much. As I said, in case you have not clicked on subscribe button, I want to say click on subscribe button. By this, you are saying that we should do more and release more. You are encouraging us and you're also advising us by doing that. And at the same time, don't forget to click on what? On the like button. Thank you very much. Till we see you in our next video where we will do what? Be designing this particular strip footing. Thank you very much. Till then.